Way back in the 1600s, there was a very famous scientist called Isaac Newton who came up with 3 laws of motion. So, these 3 laws of motion are, firstly, 1. An object will move at a constant velocity unless acted upon by a net unbalanced force. Now, the most common mistake that I see with this is that people actually assume that it is not a constant velocity that the object will move at. Instead, they assume that the object will remain at rest unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. So if there's no force, there's no movement. This is wrong. But letting you know, that's the most common mistake that I see people assume. Okay, Newton's second law is actually given by a formula. So it is given by F net. So the net force acting on an object is equal to its mass times its acceleration. And the third law is, for every force there is an equal and opposite force. For these equal and opposite force pairs, for Newton's third law, the force must always be of the same type. So for example, it must be a gravitational force and another gravitational force, and it must act on 2 different objects. The most common mistake that I see is that people assume the 2 different types of forces acting on the same object, like a gravitational force down and a normal force up, are an equal and opposite force pair. This is never true. They must always act on different objects and be the same type of force.